The first time I cut all my hair off.
And I decided to cut my hair.
Decided to cut my hair off.
After I cut my hair,
I cut all my hair off.
I cut my hair.
When I was younger, you know, my mom did my hair and she used to do these little like two braids in puffs. And for the longest I hated that hairstyle because I wore it all the way up until I was like 13, and then everybody else is getting, you know, their hair pressed out and like walking around like babbies. And then there's me still with my puff balls. I had a lady do a perm for me and my hair didn't fall out, but she cut it all off. One piece she cut too short and then she matched it, curled it all up, and that was the first time my hair was cut. After that, nobody really chopped my hair off but me. So when I was a little girl, I didn't really care much about my hair. I didn't pay any mind to it. I didn't really start caring until my girlfriends around me cared. That's when I was like, hold up, like I'm being left behind. No more beads and puffs for me. I want to be cute. That's when I went and started going to the hair salon. And then when I got my hair cut, I started wearing weaves. I think my first weave was a bob, and it actually was a fill-in. There were just a couple tracks. And then the next time I got my weave done, it was in the same year. It was for 8th grade graduation, and that I loved, and that was just it. That was all she wrote.
Hello, my name is Sky, and this is my hair currently. My hair has been through very recently big changes, which has been pretty wild for me because I grew up keeping my hair very long. I wasn't getting it cut professionally ever. My mom was always just trimming the ends. So my hair for most of my life was like down to my ass. And I really identified with the length, with the way that it covered my face and my body. And of course I identified with my curls and the way that they fell when they were long.
Okay, so what was my hair journey like growing up? It was very stressful. When I was younger, maybe around like 10 or so is when I really, probably like 8 to 10 is when I really started focusing on my hair. And I think that was around like 5th grade. And my mom, my mom used to have me in the ballies and the twisties, and then when I got to 5th grade, it just became straight 2 puffs, 2 afro puffs. And that was that was me. That was your girl. And I rocked those puffs probably all the way until like 7th or 8th grade. Then from 8th and like 9th grade, I started getting my hair pressed out because all the girls in my class were getting silk presses, and I wanted the same thing. You know, we want the luscious tresses and everything, so that's what I wanted. And so my mom started taking me to the Dominican hair salon, and I think that was in part because a lot of the times growing up, like, my family just didn't have the knowledge. They weren't educated on how to deal with my type hair. So I definitely would say that I have like a 4B, 4C type hair, because when it's wet and curl, like when it's wet, it has like a nice little S curl, and it's pretty and it's curly. But as soon as you let that girl dry, air dry, get matte, oh baby, them curls disappear. And I have really bad shrinkage. So I definitely think that like my family they just weren't ready. Also, considering that like my mom probably has closer to like a 4A, 3C type curl pattern, because that's also what my grandpop had. So like mine was a mixture of like my mom's hair and then my dad's side. So my dad's side was the side that had like the thick, coarse hair. And so what it meant to me was like a lot of stress. It just meant, to me, hair became a really stressful thing, because whenever it came to dealing with it, no one knew how to deal with it in its natural state. They always wanted to straighten it or press it out. And I wanted that for myself too, because I thought that was pretty. I didn't think that my natural hair was pretty. The only time someone had anything nice to say about my hair was when it was pressed out, or was when probably my stepmom's mom, she was the only person who recognized the beauty in my hair. She would always say that it was so beautiful. But other than getting it pressed out, that was it. No one said anything nice about it. It was always like, your hair is so nappy, it's so knotted. And then they would always say I was tender-headed, because they would always yank and pull. And I just remember like my head used to be aching sometimes after people would do my hair, because it was just like they didn't know how to cope. They didn't know how to deal with it. And then on top of that, I remember like really bad experiences going to like African braiding salons, because my parents would always want us to get our hair braided because it's the easiest, quickest thing, you know. And I just remember like they also pulled too hard though. Like my scalp sometimes would be like bleeding, because it was just like, I don't think they understood either that like, yeah, our hair is coarse, but like my hair personally is not that coarse. It's like definitely dense and thick, but it's definitely like a finer texture is the thing. Or like finer, like fiber, if you will.
My name is Manny. This is the story of my lock journey so far. As of right now, I've had my hair since I was in 8th grade. I was 13. I'm 25 now. So I've had these locks for 12 years. And they go down my back. But I had locks before that. From the age of 2, both of my parents had locks, before I was born. And so they said that when I was 2 years old, I asked for them and they gave them to me. And I had them up until I was 7. Cut all my hair off when I was 7. I actually had wanted to cut it off for a while because I was switching schools. So before I got to, I think that was like 3rd grade or something like that. Before that, I had been in the same school, the same area, for a few years. So everybody had already known me. It was like, my hair was just a regular thing. I wasn't even thinking about it. But once I got to the school, or the new school, it wasn't nobody else walking around with locks, especially little boy and everything like that. And people actually used to think I was a girl. Like grown motherfuckers would come up, to my mom, like, "Oh, that's you got a pretty girl and everything. Like, that's a boy. Like, the fuck out of here." But basically, when I moved to that new school, I was getting picked on a lot. Probably not necessarily because of the hair, but kids is kids. So I wanted to cut them off, but my parents wouldn't let me cut them off. I didn't find out until probably about a couple months ago that the reason that they actually cut my hair off is because someone told them that my hair was stunting my growth. And after they actually cut my hair off, my dad said I grew like 4 to 6 inches, like pretty quick. So from that time, I think what 7 to 13. That was when I was 13 years old. I was in 8th grade, or 7th or 8th grade, something like that. And I was in 8th grade. And it was like the end of the year. I was just turning 13, something like that. I got my hair back. I started growing my locks back, and I've had them since that time.
Hi, everybody. My name is Janae, and I'm just here to talk about my hair journey. Growing up, I can say that hair, to me, seemed like nothing that deep. Like, I had pretty long hair, not pretty long hair, like my hair is pretty, like it was long. And I remember, and this is something my mom always brings up, is I would say, like, I can't wait till I get older and I can cut my hair and donate it. So I think that at that point, it was just kind of like, it was inevitable. I was going to cut my hair at some point. And I did. I remember I cut my hair in 8th grade. I had a short haircut. It was really cute. I let my hair grow back. And then for my senior prom, I cut my hair again.
My hair journey started when I was about 4 years old, and I decided that I wanted to be Pocahontas. I wanted her fuzzy animal sidekicks, the iconic outfit and accessories, and of course, her stunning flowing long hair, which was hard to accomplish as an extremely curly haired kid, but for years I would beg my mother to let me straighten my hair so that I could be more like Pocahontas. And finally, when I was 10, she let me do it. To my disappointment, it was not nearly as long as Pocahontas's hair, but it did give me a certain amount of confidence, I guess. But it didn't serve much of a purpose to me other than being Pocahontas at that point.
Hey y'all, so let's get into this hair. This is a picture of me when I did my first ever big chop. This was September 2020. So this was like smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. I don't have a reason why I decided to cut my hair off, but like I said, smack dab in the middle of the pandemic, and I was in the house bored, so I started cutting my hair. Before then, I had braids, I had wigs, and mind you, I was natural, so I always had like my natural curls, or I kept it in a bush.
So about, I'd say 3 or 4 years ago was the first time I cut all my hair off. And when I did it because I felt like I didn't have control. So one day I looked in the mirror and I got so frustrated, so upset, because my hair wasn't done. And I said, you know what? I took a razor and I shaved all my hair off.
How to take care of my hair. And it grew back quickly because I was like, making sure that I was deep conditioning, making sure that I was oiling. Like I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I really got into it. I became a product junkie. Like it was a lot. But once my hair grew in, the first thing I was like, I'm gonna get it straightened. that was the end. Once I got my hair straightened, I kept getting it straightened. Like, it was just, I couldn't believe how long my hair had grown. I couldn't believe how my hair felt. Like, I was just in love. So I just kept, it just kept happening. I didn't cut my hair again until this last time, which was May of 2020. When COVID hit, the salons were closed. And I got to the point where I'm just like, I need to do something to my hair. So I got my friend to cut it. And when she cut it, it was pretty much like no shape or anything. I wore it like that for a little bit. And then I finally like got the courage to find a barbershop. And I went, and that's the barber I still go to. Normally, my hair is low. I get like some lines or something, like, but I haven't been for a while because I really want braids.
And then all of that hair, I think I let it grow out. And I remember finally, once I got it grown out, my hair, you know, all back to normal, I finally wanted to get it pressed again for the first time in a long time. So my best friend was like, let me do it. He's in cosmetology school. So I'm like, oh yeah, he can do it. This man gives me heat damage, like really badly. Like, but it wasn't necessarily his fault in the sense that like, he straightened my hair fine, but he did it back to back. So it was probably within a 3-day span, I had my hair straightened 2 different times. And that caused my curl pattern to just disappear. So that's when I did the big chop.
I had been getting my hair trimmed for years, but very small amounts, since I had gotten my hair pretty long, about halfway down my chest. And there was one haircut in particular after I was about 17, when I was wearing my hair naturally curly. And this haircut kind of got away from me. The hairdresser cut it a little shorter than I had intended. However, I really liked shorter hair on myself. So every year I would go back and get it cut a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter until 2017, when I got a job working outside during the summer, and having all of that long curly hair was getting to be too hot and too much. So I went back and got the sides and the back completely shaved, and then just put my hair up in a little top knot, and it all kind of clicked with me.
At the same time, I think my relationship with my hair was kind of a love-hate thing. I always wanted straight hair. If you're a young femme, typically you wanted hair that you didn't have, at least in my experience. So yeah, I found myself really wanting straight hair. But the length of my hair was just something that I had always had. And of course I always had my curls, so it just was a part of me. Cutting it didn't even seem like an option, really. It was cut one time professionally, and when I was, I think, maybe like 8 or something, and I really hated it. It like scared the shit out of me. And then I just let it grow back out, and it has been long, was long pretty much ever since. And I decided to cut my hair when the first time that I cut it was in college. I was literally finding myself getting tangled in the length, like when I was sleeping. So I just chopped it off to here. And then when it finally grew back, I was like, I kind of want to cut it again. I think I was just seeing more people who were like embracing the curls that they had, and you know, dry cuts were like a thing. People were actually like figuring out how to like cut curly hair in a way that made sense. So I was just kind of inspired by people that I was seeing cutting their hair, cutting their curly hair, and I was like, you know, like maybe I'll actually try something.
After I cut my hair, I felt
Liberated, like
So liberated.
It was so liberating.
a feeling of like relief.
I felt free.
It was so freeing to finally have the final say in what I do with my hair.
I think that now I feel pretty good whenever, like, when my hair is short. At first, I did feel a little insecure. Like I was always wearing hoops when I first got my hair cut. Now I'm okay with wearing studs. Like, it's kind of just like, this is me. I'm showing up how I'm showing up.
And I really didn't start wearing my real hair until I cut my hair off for the first time. So that's when everything just started to come together, where I'm like, okay, I like my hair. I get to see now what my hair does when you take care of it, what my real texture does when I love it, you know, and that was cool.
After I cut my hair, I felt like nobody could tell me nothing. I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt free because it was just kind of like, I'm so cute that even without hair, I still look good.
Once I cut my hair off, I kept my head on for about a week. And I know it's like, what you cut your hair for if you was gonna keep a hat on? But I felt like it was more so like a internal thing of why I kept my head on. I just wasn't confident within myself to rock my my new do, my natural, my short cut. But once I had a talk within myself, yeah, it was time for that hat to come off. And once the hat came off and I felt the confidence and I felt the comfortability within myself to rock that new do, it was so liberating.
Going into it was absolutely terrifying. I was so scared that I was gonna hate it again, and that I wasn't gonna feel like myself, because that's basically what happened when I cut it the first time. I just didn't feel like myself at all. And so I got it cut professionally, and I didn't quite like it at first, but I grew into it. And when I had first cut it, it was still long, though. It was like down to my ass again, and then I had cut it to here, which to me felt really short. And then I had like little dangly johns, and that was like a really big deal. Just like having something different, like the way that it was framing my face was very different. Yeah, and then the other day I got it cut like this.
I always feel so light and so free and so much more like myself after I get my hair cut. And I honestly feel more attractive, if that makes sense. I feel like the whole rest of the year that I've been growing my hair out, I've just been kind of hiding under the hair and hiding under a hat. But once my hair is cut and it's short, I finally feel good about myself again. And it really is a shame that I spent so many years letting other people talk me out of getting my hair cut when I feel so much better after getting it cut. It's wild to think how much that could have changed me and my experiences growing up if I had listened to my gut and cut my hair a lot shorter, a lot sooner.
I think that hair is a way to express yourself. Just like how, like, I wear glasses, I think that glasses are accessories for the eyes, and I feel like you can do literally anything to your hair. Which is, and it's kind of like I could grow my hair back, get these braids, and then I could just cut it right back off. Like, it's nothing for me. Like, I feel like hair is something that can grow back. Like, so you should be able to do any styles that you want to it. I dyed my hair. It was red at one point. It was blonde. Won't do that again because it definitely messed up my scalp, but that's besides the point. Like, I'm still beautiful without the cut, with the cut, with the blonde hair, with the red hair. Like, I'm still beautiful. So I think my opinion is I encourage everybody to cut their hair. And I think sometimes it's kind of like, some people look at me crazy, like, why are you so gung-ho about cutting your hair? I just think that, like, everyone is beautiful. You can experience different styles. You can grow your hair back. Like, it doesn't matter. So I hope that this is encouragement to know that you're beautiful, to know that your hairstyle doesn't define you. Short hair, long hair. I've met people whose hair has been past the behinds. Like, I've met people who are bald. Like, hair doesn't mean anything besides it being hair. So thanks for letting me say my piece. And I wish all of you safety and good health.
I think it means happiness. I think it means self-expression. I think it has shown me that I'm truly a Black woman, that I have Black woman struggles. I only watch Black women YouTubers when they talk about how they do their hair, because we face the same problems, the same issues. And so overall, I had a long journey. It took me a while to get here.
What it means to me is that my identity can change. That even if something feels kind of fixed to who I am, there's more fluidity in it than it might feel at times.
Hair is just hair, and hair will always grow back. And not to think of your hair as like, granted your hair is your crown, but your hair isn't you. Your hair doesn't make you. So just realizing like you're gonna be who you are without your hair, which is one of the important lessons that why it was liberating for me to cut my hair. And also it was just more so finding out who I was as a person, cutting my hair. It kind of didn't matter who liked it or who didn't, because it wasn't about them. It was definitely about me, and I would do it again. Right now my hair is growing back. I don't know what I'm doing with it. That's why it's braids in my hair. But I would definitely cut my hair again. I definitely wouldn't keep a head on my head for a week. But for anybody who wants to cut their hair, it's definitely a soul searching moment when you learn more about yourself, more about who you are rather than your hair. Yeah.
Hair had always been just another way that I wasn't really allowed to express myself in my punkness, in my gothness, in my queerness. And now that I get to do whatever I want with it and keep it short, it really does reflect more of who I am. And even though most people think of a short haircut, they tend to think it's more masculine. But for me, it also lends itself really well to a more feminine style and a more feminine look, which really suits me as a non-binary person. And now that I've experienced my hair being short, I don't know if I could ever go back to having long hair and pretending to be the kind of person that other people want me to be. Having my hair short really makes me feel more authentically myself.
There's something about hair connected to women and how important it actually is to our self-identity, to the point that it can be controlling and it can be defining. And I think cutting my hair off allowed me to redefine, to myself and not for anybody else. And I think that's awesome. So after cutting my hair, I think I feel stronger.
I am not my hair, I am not the skin, I am not your expectations, no. I am not my hair, I am not the skin, I am the soul that lives within.